Hello all you amazing people. In this video I'll be showing you some class mods that will be coming soon to console in Baldur's Gate 3. So this is some of the lesser talked about classes that are extremely well done and offer a lot of new experiences to be had in Baldur's Gate 3. And all the mods we'll be talking about today have been sent forward for console approval, and I don't see why they wouldn't be accepted. So we'll get into things right now, starting off first with the Elementalist class. What I think is cool about this class is it has an Elemental Fighter subclass, which allows you to replace your damage type with whatever element that you want. It also has a half caster and a full caster version of this class. I think this is one of the best done classes, and it's definitely an underrated one. So the Elementalist here has the three subclasses. Elemental Weaver is the full spellcaster that gets a ton of unique spells once it hits level 8, and also the ability to add a bit of extra damage. We'll first show off the Elemental Gladiator because I think this one is extremely unique. What this does is you get yourself the bind weapon, so you can use your intelligence modifier for attack rolls. You get to pick up fighting style, and then on top of that you get to choose an elemental attunement. So when you make attacks, it ignores resistances to this damage type, and whenever you deal that damage type you cannot roll a 1. And you will unlock the Elemental Blade Fire attack. So this is a melee attack, so you swing your Elemental Blade forth with fire damage instead of physical damage. So you get your choice of acid, fire, cold, lightning, thunder, poison, radiant, and necrotic. And I'll just show off fire for this because there's a lot of things that resist fire in the game. But that's not all. You can add a bunch of other damage types and you can switch around. So this is a really interesting one. Level 2, you get the ability to use an Elemental Spark to use 3 extra meters movement speed. But we also get class passives, so you can become resistant to a damage type. So let's say we want to add cold damage to our attacks and become resistant to cold, or lightning damage. So you can add the Crackling Heart there, which will give you additional 3 damage on weapon attacks. And in addition to that, you also become resistant to that damage type. At level 3, you get Elemental Weapon. So you can choose another elemental damage type, and you can add a +1 to attack rolls. This doesn't even use a spell slot either, which is incredible. So you don't have to worry about spells. You can just give yourself additional damage on your attacks. And then on top of that, you get the Explosive Strike. So you can choose an attack here, which will do harness an elemental spark to strike your foes with an acidic attack. The spark deals an acidic explosion, dealing 1 to 12 acid damage in a 4-meter radius around the target. And you get to choose which damage types you want. So the Explosive Strike gives you 2 more elements to mess around with, or you can keep with the fire element there, or whatever type of damage you choose. Now at level 4 we get even further choice here with different weapon attacks. So this one here is a Strike of Acid, does weapon damage plus a 1d4 of acid, and create a pool of acid, reducing armor class by 2. This one will burn the target. This one will potentially push the target away, and it does additional slashing damage. This one potentially stops the target from healing or receiving temporary health points. This one poisons. This one does additional 1d8 of force damage, and yeah, that one's a pretty solid one. This one does additional psychic damage. This one gives you every element you deal in your next attack deals 1 additional 1d4. This one here is a radiant damage and gives advantage on attack rolls against the target. Moonlight Strike. Thunderous Fissure. So this one creates a Thunderous Fissure that damages enemies in a line. So it's similar to some of the, if you recognize the icon, this is a attack that's in the base game. Freezing Gale hits all enemies within range with ice damage. Reckless Power, inflict yourself with a weak grip, but deals half damage on top of your normal damage, so you can deal a little bit extra just physical damage. And then Flash Fire, which is 2d8 of thunder and force damage in a straight line and can potentially bleed the target. So you can see there, lots of cool additional effects on top of your weapon attacks, but that's not all. At level 5, you get an extra attack. You get the Heat of the Battle, so you can give yourself an additional 1d6 of fire damage or whatever damage type you chose, and you get a -2 to accuracy penalty and -2 to armor class, but more damage. And you also get your elemental sparks on a short rest instead of just on long rest, and you get to pick 2 more of these. So a lot of great choices. I think that's incredible. And as we go further, we get a 1d10 to our elemental weapon instead, and we get the Honing Strikes. Use an elemental strike to hone the edge of your blade, deal more critical hits, deleting more critical hits and more damage on a critical hit as well. Then you get to pick another one of these attacks. What I think is best about this subclass is you get a ton of different damage types, and you can also, unending elements, you can choose a second damage type, and then you can also get yourself another class passive to add even further damage. So let's go necrotic there just to show that off, and then even more class passive. So this deals additional, your weapon attacks deal additional 1d6 force damage and have the chance to inflict maimed on the target. and then you get yourself another feat at level 8. Level 8's a big power spike for this class, especially the caster version. And you also get an elemental smites attack, so the damage is very much elemental focus. This does additional 2d6 plus 3 of your elemental damage choice. I'll just quickly show this off. So even just on a regular attack, we do a normal damage plus 3 plus 1d6 plus 3 lightning plus 1d6 force. So yeah, there's a lot of fun benefits here. Reducing critical hit threshold by 3 and adding a second damage die on your critical hits. And some of the attacks hit in in an area of effect. So like our freezing gale there, it hits for multiple damage types, which is cool to see. So if we go to do that there, it's not going to hit our team. But you got necrotic fire, lightning force, and cold damage. Incredible. The caster is also a very good class. I'll just quickly show you the level 8 version of it. So the class gets a bunch of extra benefits like the empowered evocation here, which adds intelligence modifier to damage rolls with evocation spells, and you got spells like Scorching Ray for big damage. What's cool about this class, the caster version, the Elemental Weaver, is that you get these spells once you hit level 8. So you get your regular spell slot selection, but then you can see here a bunch of unique spells. So the Acid Blackness, Summon a Sphere of Acid Blackness, deals 2d6 acid, and at the end deals 2d6 acid. This is like Hunger Padar, but pure acid damage. Acid Shot creates acidic surface. Acid Slam does force damage, can knock down armor class by 2. This is cool. Hellfire Orb creates hellfire on the ground, so it's like a fireball that leaves a surface. Lash of Fire is similar to Scorching Ray. Hellfire Blast, so spew hellfire flames for your weapon and inflict foes with burning hellfire. You got some ice attacks here, you got lightning attacks, you got melee attacks, bonus actions. So these are all really nice because they all end up using a bonus action and use your elemental sparks. So you can do a ton of damage with this. It's a very fun class. So a lot of cool combinations. You could do like a set up water and then blast with like a lightning or a cold spell as a bonus action. That's really good. So yeah, the Elementalist is an incredibly well done class. I think that this is one of my favorite mods that's in Baldur's Gate 3 because you got a cool caster, you got a cool melee class that deals elemental damage, and you can change the elemental damage type. That's really well done. Avires, the creator of this mod, they did such a great job with it. Now, the Bloodrager is another mod that's extremely popular and has been put forward for console approval. The Bloodrager is interesting because with this, you got multiple different subclasses. So the Bloodrager is basically like a sorcerer mixed with the barbarian. You can blood rage, but with this, you're also able to rage and spellcast. And you can see right now there's 4 subclasses. The creator is working on more different subclasses. So we got the Undead, Verdant, Shadow Bloodline, and Fey Bloodline. And then once we get up in levels, we get to choose some spells. So what's cool about this is this barbarian typically can't spellcast, but once you hit level 3, then we get ourselves some spells. So we got our blood casting, so you have the ability to cast spells while raging. So you can take things like magic missile, shield. It's a very interesting class. When entering blood rage and at the end of each of your turns, you create an aura of magical darkness around you. So creature with dark vision will suffer from dark vision. So this is just due to the shadow bloodline that I picked there. So the subclasses are extremely well fleshed out. It is a half caster, so you only get limited spell casting, but I still find that it works out pretty well because you do get an extra attack. So very physical, but if you need to, you can lash out a thunder wave to knock enemies off cliffs, or you can also hit with magic missile. Greater blood rage, so upon entering blood rage, you may apply the effects of a beneficial targeted spell that you know without using an action, or a bonus action consumes a spell slot. So if you got mirror image that increases your armor class by 9, you can cast that while going into your blood rage. And you also get the strength of shadows with this subclass. When you hit a critical hit, you deal cold damage equal to the damage done. If you also have resistance to cold damage at level 12, this goes to cold immunity and is always active. You also get Misty Step. So being able to Misty Step while raging is pretty useful. And you can see it also uses the Mistress Spell mod, so you got a lot of great choices, but Mirror Image would be a great spell just because you get the ability to add the armor class to your character. But we also got a lot of cool other effects. So while blood raging, add your Constitution modifier to your spell attack rolls and spell save DC and saving throw DC. You have advantage on checks to maintain concentration. Deceitful, learn disguise self. This gives once per long rest when you fail a saving throw. You can again succeed on. So this is the Indomitable from the fighter. Intimidating prowess, add strength modifier to intimidation skill checks. While blood raging, you may make an additional number of reactions per round equal to half your dexterity modifier rounded down up to 3. So Additional reactions, pretty cool. And step up while blood raging. Whenever a foe attempts to move more than 5 meters away from you, you may pursue them with an immediate aerial stomp. So with this, you got like extra reactions and reaction choices. This is really cool. Yeah, this class is really well done, because you can see here, great spell selection. Even if it is only a half caster, it's kind of a unique mix. Like the paladin's a half caster, but it's still very strong, whereas this class is also a half caster, but you can also attack, and you got spell casting as a backup. Step through shadows. Once per blood rage, you may teleport from one shadow to another, and also get Hunger of Hadar with the shadow bloodline. So this is the bloodline to pick. And we still got spells like lightning bolt and fireball, so very useful spells. Another class passive, we could get the step up here. I think this is a really cool ability. So basically with this, you just attack a target and jump after them. That's cool. So yeah, you only get up to level 3 spells, but I find that that's even solid. Like you could go into rage and immediately haste yourself. So this is really cool. You can see here all the subclasses, and they're going to be working on more subclasses, so that's really nice. And I guess we'll scroll down here to show off Shadow Verdant. Oh cool, I already got myself a video. It's featured here. Almost thanks to the content creator Jay Dunn for the cool build and free exposure. This is an incredible mod. I can't say enough good things about this mod, so definitely check this one out. Blood Rager class, fantastic. And yeah, the Mean Green update, they just added the Verdant Bloodline. What's cool about the Verdant Bloodline is with this, you actually get the ability to root yourself down and stay in position. That was the subclass that I showed off in this. So you can check out my Blood Rager mod build if you want to see this a bit further in depth. It's incredible. So yeah, I love this mod. Von Smash did a great job with it. So next we got the Wyrmsworn. Now Echo 0000, I've talked about them a lot, but I seriously think this is one of the best mods that I've seen in the Baldur's Gate 3 mod manager. So they're the creator of the Artificer mod, so I know a lot of people are looking forward to that. I've talked about that mod previously, but the Wyrmsworn is it's like the lesser known brother. They've made this incredible mod. It's, to describe it briefly in my words, I guess this would be like a dragon paladin style class, because you get the ability to use smite using worm oaths. So you get to choose a worm, or basically a draconic ancestor. So if you want to choose lightning damage, you can smite and deal additional lightning damage. Path of the Worm gives you the ability to do breath attacks every turn, and the Herald of the Worm allows you to open up portals and teleport around, dealing damage. The Blade of the Worm is my favorite. You get a choice of cantrips here, you get some spell selection, but what's cool is you can see we're level 1, but we got access to Lightning Bolt, we got access to Fireball. These use what's called, you'll see here, the Dragon's Blood, so we can pick our ancestor here. Let's go with this. This gives us our fire attack, but it also gives us the oath damage. So whenever you see a spell that says oath damage, that's going to be your damage choice. So Chromatic Worm Smite, we got smites that deal fire damage. We can do up to level 3, but we got Dragon's Blood here, so that is the way that we cast our spells. You see we got our spell slots there, but you can't really use them. You use these. So Fireball would use up all 3 of ours, so you don't really want to be using those too frequently. You got 3 level 1 smites if you want to, and you also get your breath attacks that are refreshed on short rest. Although different subclasses do get different benefits. The Wyrmsworn is incredible. Now, what makes this mod so great is you get a bunch of different effects here. So as we level up, you get the ability to repel enemies with your breath, snare enemies with your breath, regain your dragon's blood on certain effects. So you can see here all the different passives. So first time you cast a spell in combat, gain dragon's blood. This gives you the ability to summon in dragonborns when you fall below 50% health. So you can summon in different helpers. This makes you vulnerable to all damage, but you summon in 2 ranged and 2 melee dragonborn. So that's obviously high risk, high reward. Once per battle, when you kill an enemy, you can summon in 2 ranged dragonborns to help per battle. So this actually summons in 2 dragonborns, which are definitely underutilized in the game. So Echo took it into their own hands to make this a reality, and you can now summon in dragons to help out. You get immunity to prone and expertise on 2 skills, and you get further skill choice selection here. You get to choose weapon proficiencies as well, and yeah, you get additional abilities too. Now this mod, I do think the Artificer will likely come first. This one will be down the pipeline, I would say, but from what I've seen, I don't think that this one would get denied for console, so we should hopefully see this coming soon because it's extremely well done. You got cool choice in spells. Like level 5, you can take Cone of Cold, but is it worth it to use up all your spell? Dragon's Blood. That's up for you to decide, but you get more of them as you level up. You can get them back on taking out enemies. You can get Obviously a ton of different choices here. You can buff your teammates here, you can buff yourself. Nearby allies can fly. Nearby allies gain 1d8 of oath damage on their attacks, so you give your team additional damage depending on what oath you chose. So lightning, fire, etc. You got different a ton of different choices for spells here, and what's incredible is you get endless features and it's well fleshed out. So each of the 3 subclasses are very well done. You burn your blood to get a free melee weapon attack, so you can even use your dragon's blood to be able to get bonus action attacks if you choose this Blade of the Worm subclass. This is my personal favorite, but all 3 of them are very compelling. So yeah, I had to highlight this one because this mod only has 7,000 downloads right now, and this deserves like 700,000 downloads. Like, it's an incredible mod. So highly recommend that you check it out if you're on PC, but it'll hopefully be coming soon to console because yeah, they did a great job with this one. I do expect the Artificer will likely come first, but I guess also on that note, the Dragon Tamer, which I've featured in previous videos, incredible mod. You get to choose a dragon pet. So they actually put forward for this bad news. My mod got denied for console. So yeah, but I deleted what was causing Larian from denying my mod and pushed a new update for console. But I don't know how long it'll take for Larian to get back to testing my mod and approving it then. Sorry, console players. So You'll Star here has done everything they can. Sometimes just things don't get approved by Larian, unfortunately. But what I think is a huge thing to take away from this is Larian actually gives updates on why they denied mods so that people can fix those issues and re-upload it for future console approval. So that's huge. We've seen that with some other mods too that I've talked about in the past, especially some race mods, which I talked about yesterday, but huge. So yes, this one did get denied, but they've fixed the mod up based on what Larian said, and they put it forward for approval again. So maybe we'll see this someday. I hope so, because yeah, it's promising. But you can summon in a dragon, and I think that that's incredible. A lot of people want to have, like, the reason the Ranger is pretty popular is because you get a pet, and this gives you a dragon pet. So really cool. I think this one's a fun one, and your dragon levels up with you. So yeah, very well done. Next, I want to show off the Reaper class. It's just got a big update. I also did a build guide on this, so you can check this out. It's got some cool effects. My favorite being the ability to tether yourself. So you can see here, the tether. It'll deal cold damage equal to your Reaper level and heal you for that same amount. So if you hit 3 people level 12, that's 36 healing for your character. Now, what's cool about the Reaper is you also get like the Reaping Cleave here, which does weapon damage on 3 targets, which is huge because typically cleave attacks do half weapon damage. But that's not overpowered. You also get the ability to summon in a scythe, which you can see in the mod itself. So there's a scythe, deals additional cold damage, and it looks pretty funky. It's got the black and blue design there. But you also get the frozen blade here, so sharpen your weapon with icy death, deals additional cold damage. I love this mod because it just adds so much fun to the game. A lot of people like the Grim Reaper aesthetic, and there's 2 distinct subclasses with a defensive and offensive focus class. So highly recommend checking this one out because it's what a lot of people were looking for in terms of like a scythe wielding class. Why wait to die? And this gives you the ability to tether yourself and deal additional damage to targets and heal yourself with it, which is cool. And there's Death Judgment or Death's Aegis. So 2 different subclasses here. Death Judgment obviously be more offensive focused, so you can go into your judgment state, you deal additional damage, and whenever you crit, you make a free weapon attack. And then you also get the Cold Strike, which deals additional 1d6 of cold damage, and if you miss, it still deals damage. Or the Aegis, whenever you're in this, you get an increase your armor class by 2 and gain resistance to slashing and piercing damage. Whenever you crit, you get Soul Ward for free. And you also get the Draining Strikes, a melee attack with your equipped weapon, or gain health points equal to half the damage done. So even if you miss, you still regain a small amount of health back. That is incredible. I think this mod is very well done. This is made by Wave Rebel, so highly recommend checking this mod out. It has been put forward for console approval, so hopefully we'll see this one soon. I also want to show off the Oakheart Sentinel. This is a class that I think is very, very well done. Nightly ST made this mod. It's been put forward for potential console approval, so we just got to wait on it. But with this mod, there's a ton of subclasses. You can read up more on this on mod.io. There's a lot of detail there, but the Oakheart Sentinel, there was a previous one, but they had to rebuild it from the ground up, and they made it even better. The Oakheart Sentinels, 6 different subclasses with the Springkeeper, Sunwatcher, Lore Seeker, Face Shaper, Fall Reaver, and Frost Weaver. This gives you some different cantrip choice, and also it has the ability to use Mistress spells, which is awesome. and it uses the Druid spell list. What's cool about using the Druid spell list is the Druid actually has a lot of really great spells, and it's not bound to being a Druid, which is kind of the biggest downside to a Druid. With this, you get the ability to, some of them get wild shape forms, but you get extra summons. So like the Spring Keeper gets a hyena summon. All of them will get the Ranger's pet summon, but different subclasses do come with different versions of that. So you got your choice in spells here, and then the Druid spells. What I think is really cool about this is you also get the ability to do weapon attacks. So you also get a +3 bonus. You can take one of your stats up even further than normal. So you can see here we can take it up to 18, which is kind of cool. But what also I like about this mod is, so you can see their class companions and Oakheart Sentinel companions. You got Tainted Bear, Blink Dog, Winter Wolf, Owl Bear, and Spirit Eagle. We'll summon in the Tainted Bear there to show it off. Yeah, it's pretty fun, fancy. You also get it's the Angry Bear Spirit, has the Goading Roar and Claw attacks. But once you get up in level, you also get the ability to attack twice. So it's more of a melee focused Druid, based on the older Druid classes in Dungeons and Dragons. So with this, you get an updated version of the Shillelagh spell, which deals remains active until long rest and deals additional damage. So this is meant to mimic the 3.5 edition Dungeons and Dragons class, which has natural allies and shape-shifting abilities. So this they left out the wild shape, so I didn't like that much, but it does have the offensive focus, which I think is really interesting. So yeah, Oakheart Sentinels, really great class. I highly recommend giving that a shot, and hopefully that'll come to console soon. No real date on when it'll come. It was released on October 12th, but we've seen some mods come to console that have been released after that. It's just hard to say what Larian is doing for their testing. The last one I want to show off is the Duskblade. Now there's multiple Duskblade mods. So here's one by Dognarok, there's one by BG3 Duskblade class, and there's one by Waterwitch 83. This is the newest of them. I like all three. They're all actually quite distinct. So here, this is the Elemental Blade. This one is the Waterwitch 83's version, which has your choice in cantrips here. You got Shocking Strike, some unique ones. You also get a good choice in spells. You get a fighting style and a subclass, Elemental Blade or Necromancer Blade. So with the Elemental Blade, you deal additional 2d8 of an elemental type, and you can go into like a rage state. With the Necromancer Blade, you get the Blade of the Blood, which does additional damage and psychic damage, and then you get 2 arms as well. So this one is really cool. But we got multiple Duskblades. We got this one here, which is you get less spell casting, but you also get additional damage when you're not wearing heavy armor, which is pretty cool. So yeah, there's a lot going on between these 3 different subclasses, or 3 different classes. This one has 2 subclasses. This one has 3 with the Arcane Knight, Spellblade, and the Magus. And then this one here, Dognarok, also really well done. So yeah, Duskblade fans are eating this year because there's a ton of these mods. But just wanted to show off some of the mods. I'll just quickly go through my full list. Not everything here will come to console, unfortunately, but if you have any questions around the mods that you're going to see here, feel free to leave in the comments. I try to get back to all comments as quickly as possible. But yeah, also feel free to subscribe to my channel if you appreciated this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an incredible day, but I'll just show off the rest of these here. And again, any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I'll see y'all in the next video.